Hey people, this is my rundown of things in entertainment news that interest me, and I apologize for not being able to upload a video in a while. Things get increasingly busy and crazy for me as I move toward the end of the semester, and as I move into December, things are going to get even busier, so I expect that the videos will be even more regular then, but things will get back to normal, so thank you for sticking with me. I've got a few interesting stories for you, starting with the S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series. These two have been cast as S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Actress Elizabeth Henstridge and this actor here, whose name I'm not going to attempt to pronounce. You can click the link to read that for yourself, but I'm not going to butcher his name in this video. Anyway, they've been cast as the roles of Agent Gemma Simmons and Agent Leo Fitz, and there is a description in this casting call for these two agents. They're apparently like brother and sister who always bicker and annoy one another. They came up together and are masters in their fields. Fitz is good with weapons and gadgets while Simmons is into science, and during the show, Agent Simmons and Agent Fitz will apparently be given the name Fitz-Simmons. So that's a basic description of who these characters are. I'm curious to see how this plays out and how these characters will develop and fit in with characters like Coulson. So very curious about this S.H.I.E.L.D. series. Looking forward to it. Photos have surfaced from the set of Marvel's Thor: The Dark World, revealing our first look at actor Christopher Eccleston as the movie's main villain, Malekith the Accursed, along with his ancient army of dark elves, who you can see in the background there. So, kind of cool. Again, I'm sure things will look different when you actually see it in the movie, and the right lighting and the effects applied to it. So, but it is pretty cool to see this character. I don't really know much about Malekith, but I'm curious to see how this plays out. These are some of the actors who are reportedly up for the role of Harry Osborn in the sequel to The Amazing Spider-Man. From left to right, we have Sam Claflin, Eddie Redmayne, Douglas Booth, and Boyd Holbrook. I don't really know much about any of these actors, so I can't really say who I think would be best for the role. Apparently, Dane DeHaan from Chronicle was up for the role, but they decided that they want someone who's more James Franco-esque for this Harry Osborn. Anyway, I think the two most important things to consider when casting Harry are obviously who will play best off of Andrew Garfield, but I think you really need to have your Norman Osborn chosen before you cast your Harry Osborn, because Norman, I think, is a more important role. They've built up Norman to be this big, important threat in this Amazing Spider-Man franchise, so he's kind of a key figure that you need to get right, and how he will play off against Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. So from there, you want someone who kind of would be believable as his son, as well as all the characteristics that you want from your Harry Osborn. So I don't know if they have their Norman Osborn chosen already, and they're just keeping that a secret, but from the looks of the actors that they have, they've got a broad range, so it doesn't look like they're trying to cast off of any older actor. Speaking of James Franco, there's a new trailer out for Oz the Great and Powerful, and I think it looks pretty cool. It's a very visual effects intense movie. Kind of reminds me of Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, based on the trailers for that. I never actually went to see that movie because it didn't really appeal to me, but this appeals to me a little bit more. I've always been kind of interested in the idea of bringing back the Wizard of Oz franchise, and I think visually this looks really cool, and depending on how good this movie is, I think it would be pretty cool to possibly go forward, since this is a prequel of The Wizard of Oz, and actually do a remake of The Wizard of Oz in the style of this movie. The Hobbit premieres December 14th, and with it there will apparently be some pretty major trailers. Zack Snyder's The Man of Steel, the upcoming Superman movie, as well as Star Trek Into Darkness, the sequel to 2009's Star Trek. And I'm excited for both of those. I mean, I've got my apprehensions about Man of Steel since I've got my own ideas for how to do that movie, but overall I am very excited to see Superman again. And I've never been a big Star Trek fan. I mean, I've watched some of the original series, but the Star Trek movie, J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, really impressed me. I think it was a great way to do a movie that appealed to both fans and non-fans and was just very accessible and enjoyable. So I'm excited to see that franchise move forward and see what's next for them. Lawrence Kasdan and Simon Kinberg will reportedly be writing Star Wars Episodes 8 and 9 respectively. The announcement of Lawrence Kasdan's involvement excited a lot of people because he wrote The Empire Strikes Back, which is considered by many to be the best of all the Star Wars movies, as well as Return of the Jedi, which a lot of people criticize, but I think Return of the Jedi is a pretty awesome movie. So that's exciting if he really is returning to write this new movie. And IGN has a pretty helpful profile on all three of the writers, including Michael Arndt, who will be writing Star Wars Episode 7. So check that out if you're curious about these guys. Kick-Ass 2 has reportedly wrapped filming and is due out on June 28, 2013. Not really much to elaborate on there. It's pretty simple, but you can check out the link in the description for more information. Before I end this video, I want to give a small update on one of the articles that I talked about in my last video regarding the upcoming potential sequel to Boy Meets World called Girl Meets World. And IGN has an article in which they gathered up some of the articles that a few of the actors who were a part of the Boy Meets World cast have made regarding the new series. And they've spoken to William Russ, who played Corey's dad, Lily Nixay, who played Corey's little sister, the original Morgan, not the second Morgan, and Anthony Tyler Quinn, who played the teacher, Mr. Turner. So all of them seem pretty positive about it, and some of them seem like they'd be pretty interested in returning. So if you're curious about this series and interested, check out that article. It's pretty brief, but interesting. That's really all I've got for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe, and tune in next time.